Welcome to the Smart Science instructional video about the colorimetric determination of copper. Now, this is an AP chemistry lab and is fairly complex, so let's see what we can learn here. First, you're going to have a lab description at the top that's going to show you a little about how you measure points and estimate the x-intercept of the data that you've collected. It's very important that as you measure data, you do get a straight line, so we'll talk about that in a moment. Below that, you will see a little explanation of some of the math behind this lab, and then you'll see a guideline as to how to measure. We're going to be clicking on a color bar, trying to match the color of the blue sample to a blue color bar. Now, the color itself might not match perfectly. You're looking for how dark or light the blue is. I'll talk about that a little more as we get into measuring. Down below, you've picked a hypothesis by this point that you want to test, and we're going to go ahead and measure and try to test that out. So let's start with the standard. If I press play, now I'm going to see this color bar here, and I'm going to see the sample. How light is the sample? Again, this is a bit of a teal blue, but all the samples that we have, whether they be copper, brass, bronze, the blues are going to be a little different. We had to use one standard color bar, so we're really looking for the intensity of the color here. Let's go about right there. As you notice, when they put a little more of the copper in, then we'll notice it changing color, so we're going to measure that again, and so forth. Now, if I were to click way to the bottom here, you'll notice my line gets quite a curve to it. So what I want you to do is really ensure that your line is relatively straight. If it curves, you have a lot of error in your data. If it's straight, it's good. So let's press this reset button right here and do it again. Okay, so going ahead and just looking for that, how dark the blue is or how light it is, that's what I'm trying to match. And if I've done a fairly good job, the points should be separated by about the same amount because we're adding the same amount of copper in each interval, and that should create a relatively straight line as you can see right there. Let's just do that one more time. I'll go ahead and pick out, I don't know, this bronze right here. You'll notice the video, there's the bronze dissolving in the nitric acid, and here again is going to be our color in the beaker and our color bar. So do your best job. Again, this isn't very easy sometimes to see if there's even much of a change in intensity. In this case, there wasn't a whole lot, but I'm going to save it. We're going to look at bronze versus copper versus our standard lane right there. And again, I've just done a pretty rough job of measuring. You may be a lot more careful than I was, but essentially you're going to go through and do all 11 of these videos measuring the different color changes, and therefore using some of that math up above and some of the knowledge you have of chemistry, trying to estimate, determine the amount of copper in solution. Hopefully you'll learn a lot from this video and doing this lab about colorimetric determination of copper.